After the breakup, my best friend, Chloe, suggested we hit a karaoke bar so I could vent. I'd already downed most of the alcohol I'd ordered for us, nursing my sorrow in the neon-lit private room, but she still hadn't shown up. Then her message popped up. Sorry, held up. Sending a guy over to keep you company though. So when a young man, looking barely over 20, walked into the booth, I couldn't help but grin like an idiot despite my drunken haze. Well played, Chloe-chun. You really came through. Hey there, handsome. I slurred, the alcohol making me bold. I reached out, playfully tipping his chin up. What's your name? Just call me Ryan, he replied, his voice smooth. As he spoke, his Adam's apple bobbed attractively, a wave of youthful energy washing over me. It was intoxicating. Want to come home with big sister tonight? I murmured, inhibitions melting away. Stepping into my apartment, the first thing Ryan saw were my ex-boyfriend Mark's slippers, still sitting forlornly by the door. A relic of a life suddenly defunct. Ryan's eyebrow arched slightly. Don't worry, I reassured him quickly, perhaps a little too loudly. Consider me widowed. Totally safe. A ghost of a smile touched Ryan's lips. He didn't press the issue, simply scooped me up into his arms bridal style. Suddenly weightless, I instinctively wrapped my arms around his neck, burying my face slightly against his shoulder. His voice, husky and warm, vibrated near my ear. Good to know. He carried me into the bedroom and gently set me down on the bed. But then, to my surprise, he turned and walked out of the room. Wait, what? What's happening? My hazy brain struggled to compute. Is this where the extra charges kick in? Was that part of a different package deal? Just as my thoughts spiraled into absurdity, Ryan returned, holding a glass of honey water. I drank it distractedly, my mind still fuzzy. As soon as I finished, he took the empty glass and started to leave again. Acting on pure instinct, my fingers shot out and snagged the corner of his shirt. Ryan turned, his eyes looking slightly unfocused, perhaps from mirroring my own drunken state, or maybe something else entirely. You can sleep here, I blurted out, the words tumbling over each other. I'll pay extra. I finished in a rush, suddenly unable to meet his gaze, heat creeping up my neck. A soft chuckle sounded from above me. His tone was unexpectedly gentle, almost teasing. Sophie, he murmured, I'm just going to put the glass away. Be good, he added, his voice dropping lower. I'll be right back to tuck you in. Thump thump, thump thump. The only sound in the room was the frantic drumming of my own heart. Click. The lights went out, plunging the room into darkness. I felt the mattress dip beside me. The next second, I was pulled into a broad, warm embrace. My mind went completely blank. Just before sleep or something like it, claimed me, I registered Ryan whispering close to my ear. Sophie, it's been a long time. But whatever that meant was quickly lost in the ensuing tide. When I woke again, sunlight streamed through the window and Ryan was gone. I tried to move my neck, groaning softly. Every bone in my body felt like jelly, aching with a pleasant soreness. So is this the fabled joy of being a sugar mama? I mused wryly, biting the corner of the duvet. My thoughts drifted back to Ryan's parting words last night. Sophie, it's been a long time. What did he mean by that? An unsettling feeling pricked at the edge of my consciousness. Beside the bed, another glass of honey water sat waiting. Tucked beneath it was a neat stack of pinkish bills cash. With considerable effort, I pushed myself up. Under the glass, there was also a small sticky note. Sophie, I don't take cash. Add me on WeChat? Followed by a QR code. Cheeky kid. Trying to get my WeChat contact, huh? Still, thinking back to the whirlwind of last night, his slightly old-fashioned note and stack of cash felt oddly charming. A cute contrast. I rolled out of bed, scanned the code, added him on WeChat, and plugged my phone into charge before heading to the bathroom, humming softly. Before Ryan could even accept my friend request, however, a message from Chloe pinged through. I picked up my phone. Chloe, hey babe. How was the KTV therapy session yesterday? Everything okay? I replied with gusto, words fail me. Thank you, Chloe. You're the best. Chloe typed back. So did my brother find you all right? Me? Yeah. Your brother? I scrolled back through our chat history, re-listening to her voice message from the night before several times. The voice-to-text had transcribed it as sending a guy over. But listening closely, she might have actually said, sending my brother over. One tiny syllable difference. The random escort. I thought I'd picked up had transformed into my best friend's actual biological brother. Damn you, voice to text. You lethal, inaccurate menace. Chloe was still messaging, oblivious. Yeah, I had that date I told you about. Shy emoji. So I asked Ryan to pick you up. Did you get the perfume? Your favorite, Miss Dior. Surprise. Staring at my phone screen, I felt the world tilt. My expression must have been tragic. Oh, Chloe. I'm so sorry. I didn't get the perfume. But I definitely got your brother. Surprise indeed. A massive, terrifying, potentially life-ending surprise. I had slept with Chloe Chen's little brother. He had just turned 26 years younger than me, still in university. The last time I'd seen him, he was practically a kid, still in high school. I remember being young and foolish back then, dramatically, declaring to Chloe that I was going to marry her brother someday and become her sister-in-law. She'd nearly throttled me on the spot. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, conflicted. Me ahem, Chloe, your brother really grew up handsome, didn't he? I didn't even recognize him yesterday. Chloe replied instantly. Handsome my ass. Boys like him are clueless, so easy to get scammed. Saw this news story the other day. Some 30-year-old woman slept with a high school guy, took his money, used him. Reading her words, I felt a distinct chill. Was she hinting at something? My reply felt weak, evasive. Why bring that up all of a sudden? Chloe. If that happened to my brother, I'd literally hunt them both down and make them disappear. I forced a laugh, typing with clammy hands. Haha, no need to be so dramatic, sis. Seriously, that sounds like paranoia. I thought frantically. Besides, your brother is hardly naive. But Chloe was a Taekwondo black belt. Her threats carried genuine weight. She continued complaining via text, saying Ryan needed to focus, that he had to pass his IELTS exam this month for his study abroad application. No distractions allowed. I didn't dare reply further, terrified I'd slip up. Then my phone rang. It was Chloe. Okay, enough texting. Let's go get some barbecue. My treat. My brother will pick you up, she added thoughtfully. Even in the summer heat, a shiver went down my spine. Oh no, really, that's not necessary. I protested weakly. Don't be silly, she insisted, refusing to take no for an answer. Finally, feeling trapped and realizing this awkwardness would hang over me until I confessed, I took a deep breath. Might as well. Get it over with. Better to confess and face the music than live in constant fear. Steeling myself, I summoned all my courage. Chloe, I said, my voice trembling slightly. It's really not convenient for me to see Ryan right now. Because last night we kind of, did it. Silence stretched on the other end of the line. Then a familiar male voice, smooth and slightly amused, replied. Wow, Sophie. You really don't beat around the bush, do you? What? When had the call been handed over to Ryan? Realizing the person I just confessed to was the other party involved, my face exploded in heat. How is it you? Where's your sister? Oh, she handed me the phone, he said nonchalantly. By the way, I think I left my student ID at your place yesterday. Could you bring it when you come? Huh, your student ID? I didn't see any. Oh, didn't you? Ryan's voice drawled lazily through the phone. Maybe check on the bed? Is that convenient? Kill me now. I almost wished Chloe had heard my confession instead. My brief moment of courage evaporated instantly. I felt like a fish on a chopping block, filleted by this sibling duo. I decided to just surrender to fate. At the barbecue restaurant, Chloe waved at me from a window seat. Her large canvas Taekwondo gym bag sat beside her, an ominous reminder. My legs felt even weaker, though whether from Ryan's teasing or Chloe's potential wrath, I couldn't tell. I managed to shuffle over and sink into the seat opposite her. Tada! Your surprise, Chloe announced, pushing a familiar bottle across the table. Miss Dior. She started explaining why she bailed yesterday, but I barely heard her. Just then, Ryan appeared with a plate of fruit and sat down right beside me. Chloe grinned from across the table. You two look cozy sitting together like that. Makes me feel like the third wheel. I immediately scooted away, trying to create some distance between myself and Ryan. Chloe laughed louder. What are you doing, Sophie? Don't be silly. Why would you be shy around my little brother? Ryan leaned slightly closer, murmuring just loud enough for me to hear. Little. Fanning myself dramatically, I blamed the heat. Ryan glanced at my crop top, then casually draped his light jacket over my shoulders. He pushed the fruit plate closer to me. Have some fruit, Sophie. You kept saying you were thirsty last night, remember? Thankfully, Chloe remained blissfully oblivious, preoccupied with her own barbecue tongs. Yeah, Sophie, you drank yesterday. Eat some fruit, it's good for you. Sighing internally, I stuffed cherry tomatoes into my mouth. Ryan expertly manned the grill, ensuring both Chloe and I were well fed, peeling shrimp and placing perfectly cooked meat onto our plates. The entire meal proceeded in a strangely calm, yet deeply unsettling atmosphere. I just wanted it to be over so I could retreat to my apartment and hide. Suddenly, a perfectly peeled, pink shrimp appeared before me, still steaming. Guiltily, my eyes darted to Chloe first. She just laughed again. Why look at me? He peeled it for you, just eat it. Chloe seemed unusually gentle today. It made me feel even worse, cursing myself inwardly for betraying her trust. I glanced at Ryan. The little rascal met my gaze, his eyes deep and unreadable, as if nothing unusual had happened between us. He started peeling another shrimp for me. I sighed. I had to find a chance to talk to him, tell him clearly that this whatever it was had to stop. For everyone's sake. In every sense of the word. Just as the meal was winding down and Ryan had gone up to pay the bill, Chloe leaned across the table, grabbing my shoulder, her expression suddenly serious. Sophie, she said intently, from now on, I'm entrusting my brother to you. Huh. My jaw practically hit the table. Why, you know? I stammered. Chloe looked puzzled. No what? Yeah, of course. Did Ryan mention it to you? I was still confused. But isn't he supposed to be studying abroad soon? Chloe finally clarified. That's why he needs to stay at your place. To practice English with you. Chloe, clearly not noticing I had turned to stone, continued enthusiastically. My brother has his IELTS exam next month, right? And you're a translator. Plus, your apartment is way closer to his university than our place. You can tutor him, help him prep. No. I interrupted loudly, snapping back to reality. Chloe blinked, taken aback. Then her expression shifted into a surprisingly pouty one. But you used to say you liked my brother. Remember when you came over years ago? You said he was adorable. I shook my head vehemently, my expression tragic. That was years ago, Chloe. Ancient history. What I didn't say. Your brother isn't the cute little puppy I remember. He's dangerously charming now. And aggressive. My legs are still sore. But those thoughts remained unspoken, swallowed down with my barbecue. As Chloe and I reached a stalemate, Ryan returned from paying. He saw the blatant refusal written all over my face but remained unfazed. It's okay, Chloe, he said smoothly. Maybe Sophie just isn't used to me yet. Even Chloe, bless her oblivious heart, seemed to catch the undertone in his words. Her eyes narrowed slightly, flicking suspiciously between us. For a terrifying second, the image of Chloe vowing bloody vengeance flashed before my eyes. Afraid Ryan might say something even more incriminating, I shot up from my seat. No problem. He can come. Let's be roommates. Cohabitation is fine. Chloe looked immensely relieved, slapping me playfully on the back. What are you talking about? Don't you dare tease my little brother. Tease him? I thought hysterically. You have no idea who's teasing whom. I turned a desperate, furious glare towards Ryan. He met it with a smug, triumphant sparkle in his eyes. He even had the audacity to lean in and say politely, "Thanks for having me, Sophie. Sorry for the trouble." Before I could retort, he added softly, right next to my ear, "I'll pay rent." Suddenly, my legs felt a little weak again. With the cohabitation settled, Chloe announced that some cute guys had recently joined her taekwondo gym, and promptly dashed off, leaving me with Ryan. And his luggage. Turns out, he had brought his suitcase with him to the barbecue restaurant. He calmly retrieved it from the restaurant's front desk, then matter-of-factly placed it in the trunk of my car. Finally, he opened the passenger door for me with practiced ease. The entire sequence was unnervingly smooth. Help, what have I gotten myself into? Inside the stuffy car, Ryan turned on some music. A melancholic indie song filled the space. Asterisk, woke up naturally, the world changes too fast. Once I hold you, everything else fades away. Asterisk. I quickly switched it off. Ryan glanced at me. I spent the morning packing, he offered, by way of explanation for the suitcase. Oh, are you mad at me? Huh, why would I be mad? I snapped, perhaps a little too defensively. Then why didn't you reply to my WeChat message? Puzzled, I checked my phone. It was on silent. 2 messages from Ryan sat unread. Ryan. Sophie, can I stay at your place for a while? Ryan. No reply means yes, okay? Definitely Chloe's brother, I thought Riley. They shared the same brand of breezy entitlement. Feeling like I'd lost another round, I muttered sullenly. Fine. But you sleep on the sofa in the living room. It pulls out into a bed. Ryan fell silent. The music player somehow switched back on, softly saying, Asterisk communication between people. Sometimes it's useless. Asterisk. Did you hear me? I repeated, trying to sound firm. Okay. Ryan's voice was quiet, subdued. A pang of guilt hit me. Oh no. Did I hurt his feelings? Damage his fragile male ego? After all, I had technically taken his virginity last night. Okay, maybe I didn't know that for sure, but it felt dramatic. But before my guilt could fully blossom, Ryan spoke again, his voice regaining its usual smooth cadence. But Sophie, your bed is really comfortable. I bet I could memorize vocabulary much more efficiently on it. I whipped my head around to stare out the window, regretting every decision I'd ever made. I had well and truly invited the wolf into my house. The IELTS exam registration deadline was a month away. 1 month. Living together. I absolutely could not let this wolf get the better of me again. That evening I donned my most conservative pajamas. Long sleeves, long pants. I looked like the headmistress of a chastity league. Ryan sat on the sofa reading a book, wearing a pair of rimless glasses that made him look devastatingly like a character from an inkwash painting. Going to bed now. Sleep early, I announced brightly after brushing my teeth. I practically sprinted into my bedroom and locked the door behind me. The whole maneuver was executed with seamless precision. I completely ignored the wounded look in Ryan's eyes as I closed the door, shutting out his exaggerated theatrical sigh. However, lying alone on my spacious, comfortable queen-sized bed, a thought occurred to me. Ryan was tall. Like really tall. 187 centimeters, about 6 feet 1 inch. The sofa bed was maybe 150 centimeters long, under 5 feet. Was making him sleep on that ridiculously small sofa bed kind of cruel? The more I thought about it, the guiltier I felt. It seemed terribly callous, like kicking him out after. Poor Ryan. Relegated to the torture device sofa. So when I heard the shower start running in the bathroom, I made a decision. I crept out into the living room, intending to swap our sleeping arrangements. After a few trips back and forth, fetching pillows and blankets, I had just finished making up the sofa bed for myself and was smoothing out my pink flowered sheets when, click, the bathroom door opened. Steam billowed out, and through the haze Ryan emerged, toweling his damp hair. He wore nothing but a white towel slung low around his hips, revealing a lean toned waist and a glimpse of sharply defined abs. The lines of his bare torso were sleek and captivating in the dim light. Damn it. Have some decency, man. Shameless male fox spirit. Trying to seduce me. Still, I remembered my role, the mature older sister. Using my kindest, most maternal voice, I said, Ryan dear, the sofa bed is too small for you. I'll sleep out here. I often fall asleep here watching movies anyway. To make it convincing, I plopped down onto the sofa bed, pretending to be comfortable. Unfortunately, my lower back landed directly on a hard metal bar, hidden beneath the thin mattress. Pain shot through me, making me wince involuntarily. If I knew I'd be sleeping on this thing, I would have bought a better one. As I mentally calculated the cost of replacing the sofa bed tomorrow, I was suddenly lifted off it, pink sheets and all, into strong arms. Sophie can sleep in the bed, Ryan murmured, his voice laced with amusement. No extra charge. He was repeating my own drunken words back to me. My face burned hot enough to fry an egg, but as my body sank into the familiar, welcoming softness of my own mattress, I couldn't suppress a sigh of pure comfort. Lights off, Ryan announced, giving me no time to argue. Wait, I want to sleep on the inside, I blurted out, hugging the wall side of the bed. Ryan chuckled softly. Whatever you want. He adjusted the air conditioning to my preferred temperature. A wave of drowsiness washed over me. Just before drifting off, I heard Ryan ask quietly, Why do you always sleep on the inside? My sleepiness momentarily forgotten, I replied seriously, It's better for defense. Ryan sounded puzzled. Tucked under the covers, I mumbled, It's embarrassing. When I was in high school in the dorms, I heard a story about a girl who died mysteriously in one of the lower bunks in our building. That night I was totally freaked out. Suddenly I felt something grab my wrist tight. It turned out to be my bunkmate playing a stupid prank, but it terrified me. Ever since then, I can't sleep with my hand dangling over the edge of the bed. I'd only ever told Chloe that story. Afterward, she'd always insisted on squeezing onto the top bunk with me, sleeping on the outer edge. As I finally drifted off, I saw Ryan turn onto his side, facing the room, his body forming a sort of protective barrier beside me. Even the annoying chirping of the summer cicadas outside suddenly sounded rather pleasant. "Good night, Sophie," Ryan whispered. "Night," I mumbled, rolling over to face the wall, carefully hiding the smile playing on my lips and in my eyes. When I woke up, my blanket had been kicked aside. This was awkward, because I was curled up tightly against Ryan, nestled comfortably in his arms. I tried to subtly inch away. A teasing voice rumbled from above my head. "Morning, Sophie." Damn it. The little brat was awake the whole time. I opened my eyes and met his gaze directly. Guiltily, I glanced at the non-existent space between us. Suddenly, Chloe's furious face and threats flashed in my mind, sending a cold sweat breaking out all over me. I scrambled out of his embrace as if burned, fleeing into the bathroom like a criminal caught in the act. In the small bathroom, we stood side by side, brushing our teeth. "Do we eat breakfast? Do you want breakfast?" I mumbled around my toothbrush. "Together," Ryan replied, his diction perfectly clear despite his own toothbrush. "How does he do that?" At the breakfast shop near my office, Ryan carried our trays of soy milk and steamed buns, looking for a table. Even though the chances of running into Chloe here were practically zero, I maintained the vigilance of someone having a clandestine affair, keeping a careful distance from him. But of course, just as I relaxed slightly, several familiar faces walked in. Colleagues. And worse, one of them was a friend of Chloe's friend. The moment our eyes met, they all exchanged knowing glances. That look. Lou, a colleague I was close to, slid into the seat opposite me, leaning in conspiratorially. "So," she whispered, waggling her eyebrows. "Temptation of the young wolf, huh? What are you talking about?" I feigned utter confusion, channeling my inner bewildered grandparent trying to use a smartphone. "Oh, stop hiding it. We all know that scumbag Mark dumped you to climb the corporate ladder." Lou nudged me playfully, her eyes flicking towards Ryan. "But damn girl, you work fast. Mark was heartless, but you're ruthless. Finding someone this hot already." The bustling breakfast shop suddenly felt like a stage for our awkward drama. I tried desperately to explain the situation, without revealing the actual situation. Lou was enthusiastically shipping us. Other colleagues were blatantly eavesdropping, soaking up the gossip. Ryan remained completely unperturbed, calmly mixing chili oil and vinegar for my dipping sauce before tackling his own bun with slow, deliberate bites. Good grief, he managed to make eating street food look like dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant. Elegance apparently never goes out of style. Giving up on explanations, I focused on my own breakfast. When I looked up, Ryan had finished eating and was watching me intently, a thoughtful expression on his face. "What?" I asked, taking the last sip of my soy milk. "You've got something right here," he said. Before I could react, his hand reached out. He gently dabbed the corner of my mouth with the napkin. The gesture was accompanied by a chorus of suggestive oaths from my colleagues. Ryan just smiled faintly, showing me the speck of chili oil on the napkin. It was a perfectly ordinary Monday morning. I wasn't drunk, not hungover. Just a simple breakfast shop, Ryan's handsome face across from me, the good-natured teasing of my colleagues. For a moment it felt like being back in school. Those thrilling little interactions with the crush that sent ripples through your heart. Then the image of Chloe morphed into my high school dean of discipline. Severe black suit, black-rimmed glasses, wielding a long, thin cane. Yikes! Terrifying. Clearly, I was the only one in this scenario paralyzed by fear. I watched in stunned silence as Ryan calmly greeted my colleagues. "Please take good care of my Sophie at work from now on, okay?" Led by Lou, my colleagues responded with more enthusiasm than they showed our actual boss, slapping their chests and promising to look out for me. My Sophie? When did I become his? I could already picture Chloe's murderous expression. Despair washed over me. I was hovering on the verge of a heart attack until we finally left the breakfast shop. Only then did I manage to exhale a shaky breath. "I heard everything, Sophie," Ryan said. his hand still casually holding mine as we walked. Huh? Heard what? I looked up at him. That jerk isn't worth your tears, he stated, his voice neutral. Not wanting to seem pathetic, I retorted stubbornly. Who said I cried over him? You told me everything that night at the KTV, Ryan said, his gaze fixed ahead, but his grip on my hand tightened almost imperceptibly. When you were drunk. Sophie, I won't let anyone make you cry again. On the busy morning street, Ryan guided me to walk on the safer, inner side of the pavement. His hand remained firmly clasped around mine. The noisy world seemed to fade, as if someone had put noise-canceling headphones on the universe. His beautiful eyes focused solely on me, looking at me as if I were the most precious treasure in the world. My bravado faltered. You know what Chloe thinks, I mumbled. She'll. Sophie, he interrupted gently but firmly. What do you think? I wasn't following. You keep worrying about my sister. But what about you? What do you want? He stopped walking, turning to face me fully. Do you want to be with me? I was distracted all day at work. When Ryan asked if I wanted to be with him, my heart had already screamed yes. Being with him, holding his hand, felt solid, right? Walking on like this forever, it seemed like a pretty good idea. Except for Chloe's terrifyingly high combat capabilities. I rubbed my temples, trying to focus on work, to escape the swirling confusion. But images of Ryan and Chloe, like some kind of bizarre double act, kept playing in my head. Frustrated, I packed up early. Just as I stepped into the elevator, Mark hurried in behind me. Sophie, are you okay? He asked quietly, trying to sound concerned. Does it have anything to do with you? I replied curtly, eager to get away from him. I stepped out as soon as the doors opened on my floor. Honestly, my relationship with Mark had been rather sudden. People said we looked good together, so we just got together. He was a manager in another department, witty, not bad-looking. Being dumped stung, not because I was deeply in love, but because it made me despair at my own judgment. If he could dump me for the boss's daughter, he'd dump her for someone better down the line. He was chasing ambition, not connection. There was nothing worth mourning there. On WeChat, Ryan messaged, "What do you want for dinner tonight?" I stared at his cartoon avatar. Some cool anime character. And typed back whatever. Idly, I clicked into his WeChat Moments feed. It was set to visible for 3 days only. There was just one post. A shared link about a project from his university lab. The article included a group photo. Standing next to Ryan was a girl with vibrant red hair and the delicate features of a Korean pop star. She radiated youth, collagen, and an air of confidence that suggested she had plenty of admirers. A small pang went through me. I quickly closed the link. Ryan was only in his 3rd year of university. Studying abroad seemed inevitable. Even if Chloe somehow miraculously approved of us, how long could Ryan's feelings last? His life was just beginning. He would meet so many other beautiful, interesting girls. And me? I'd always been ordinary, painfully average. His current fascination with me was likely just that, fascination. Curiosity about the older sister. The thrill of novelty. If we were the same age, our paths probably would have never crossed. Pushing open the door to my apartment, a startled curse escaped my lips. Because my normally comfortably messy home had never ever been this clean. The entire place sparkled. The living room coffee table even held a bouquet of champagne roses. The enticing aroma of chili stir-fried pork wafted from the kitchen. My mouth watered. I crept towards the source. Ryan was at the counter chopping carrots. When he saw me, he nonchalantly popped a piece into my mouth. "Wow, you're amazing at housework, Ryan," I exclaimed, chewing appreciatively. He shrugged dismissively. "Chloe trained me well when we were kids." Thinking of Chloe made me feel guilty again. She hadn't contacted me in a couple of days. "Should we invite your sister over for dinner?" I suggested tentatively. "No," Ryan replied firmly, deftly sliding the chopped carrots onto a plate. "Why not? I want to spend time alone with my Sophie," he stated smoothly, already heating oil in the wok. After dinner, I volunteered for dish duty and washed some fruit. Around 11:30 p.m., I couldn't stand watching the mind-numbingly boring variety show any longer. Yawning, I announced, "I'm going to bed." "Okay, let's go to sleep," Ryan responded instantly, springing up from the sofa even faster than I did. "You're acting like the puppy I had as a kid," I thought, amused. Ryan didn't mind the comparison, grinning cheekily. "Oh yeah? Did your puppy do housework too? He fetched my slippers. Ryan, never one to back down, countered. But he couldn't keep his Sophie warm in bed, could he? His words sent shivers down my spine. The curtains were left slightly open, allowing a sliver of streetlight to filter in, softening the darkness. My phone was charging on the nightstand, leaving me with no excuse but to close my eyes and pretend to sleep. Sophie? Are you asleep? Ryan whispered, scooting a little closer in the dark. No, I answered truthfully. That night, under a sky full of scattered stars, reality seemed to blur. All I wanted was to melt into the warmth of Ryan's intense gaze. If the first time was an accident, fueled by alcohol and misunderstanding, the second time was definitely premeditated. By Ryan. Young men have way too much stamina. Feeling utterly depleted, I called Chloe, practically begging her to take her brother back. Predictably, she was too preoccupied with her own budding romance to care. Ryan's been studying really well lately, Sophie. Just hang in there a bit longer. I'll buy you a new bag, Chloe wheedled. Studying? He's been studying anatomy. In my bed. I can't hang in there anymore. Come get him. I pleaded. Chloe abruptly cut me off. Gotta go, my boyfriend's calling. Click. Humph. This pair of siblings. One ditches her friend for romance, the other is insatiable. And I'm stuck in the middle wanting to weep. Just as I hung up, Ryan walked in, grocery bags filled with meat and vegetables in hand. Ryan, I said sternly, adopting my most serious tone. Come here. I need to talk to you. What's up, Sophie? He replied cheerfully, taking off his shoes. Let me put the meat away first, okay? You always do this. Come here and listen to me properly. Sensing my genuine frustration, Ryan quickly abandoned the groceries and sat down opposite me, adopting a K-drama-worthy expression of obedient attentiveness. My stern facade softened slightly. Choosing my words carefully, I began. Ryan, we can't keep making this mistake. Ryan's face remained impassive. How about braised pork belly for dinner tonight? I'm serious. My voice rose slightly. See? You always change the subject. Maybe some stir-fried eggs with green peppers too, he mused thoughtfully. I'm craving that. Okay. Wait for me, be good. A triumphant smirk flickered across Ryan's face. He leaned forward, planted a quick kiss on my cheek, tied on a pink apron, and sauntered into the kitchen humming. I sat on the sofa, trying to process the utter futility of our talk. That wolf cub had absolutely no respect for his older sister. I'm only tolerating this because he's such a good cook. I fumed silently. Otherwise I would have, oh whatever. I decided to just stall, drag things out until he left for England. I took a bite of the candied hawthorn fruit, tonghulu, he'd bought me, feeling resentful. Later that night, in the bedroom, consumed by guilt over betraying Chloe, I forced Ryan to conspire with me in maintaining the secrecy. What are you so afraid of, Sophie? Ryan whispered, a mischievous glint in his eyes. Shut up. You don't understand. If you don't behave, you're sleeping on the couch. I threatened, making a half-hearted kicking gesture. Ryan immediately threw his hands up in surrender. But his compliant act lasted all of 2 minutes before he was leaning in, trying to kiss me again. He kissed me, then paused, looking deep into my eyes. It tickled, made me squirm, but I couldn't seem to pull away. Suddenly he stopped. Sophie, he said, his tone shifting. My parents want to invite you over for dinner. I knew this was coming. Chloe had mentioned it vaguely. Still, I couldn't resist teasing him. Oh? Meeting the parents already? What? You don't want to? Ryan's voice was suddenly flat, unreadable. Are you unhappy about it? About me coming to your house? Sensing his subtle shift in mood, I flipped the question back at him. For some reason, my intuition told me he didn't want me to come over. And even more bizarrely, his reluctance made me feel slightly disappointed. Maybe he knows this won't last either, I thought glumly. The thought deflated any desire I had to press him further. As if reading my mind, Ryan's arm snaked around me, pulling me close again. No, Sophie, that's not it, he explained earnestly. I wanted to sort things out with them first, resolve our issues, before I officially brought you home to meet them. His serious explanation somehow made me feel guilty again. It's okay, I mumbled. It's not like it's my first time visiting your family. Remember? I came over a few years ago. I even saw you then. You were so young back then, I reminisced. Such a baby face. Oh? So you had your eye on me even back then. Ryan's voice held a knowing, teasing edge. I quickly waved my hands in denial. Don't be ridiculous. You were only 15. Then how come I remember you dramatically announcing you were going to marry me and become my sister's sister-in-law? I was speechless, because I had said that. And Chloe, the protective older sister, had nearly murdered me for it. At Chloe and Ryan's family home, Mrs. Chun and Ryan were busy in the kitchen, while Chloe and I sat in the living room chatting with Mr. Chun. Mr. Chun, the director of the local traditional Chinese medicine hospital, seemed a bit shy initially, reserved. But as Chloe and I chatted, I noticed his ears practically perked up like antennae. He clearly wanted to join the conversation. Chloe cracked sunflower seeds, eyeing me shrewdly. Sophie, are you seeing someone? My denial was automatic, reflexive. And no, of course not. Chloe shook her head, unconvinced. Don't lie to me. You're glowing lately. There's definitely something going on. Sensing imminent exposure and potential bodily harm, I desperately tried to redirect the conversation by pulling Mr. Chan in. Uncle Chan, I said brightly. I've been feeling a bit run down lately, kind of heaty. Could you take a look? Thrust into his area of expertise, Mr. Chun immediately became serious. He put on his reading glasses and peered at me intently. Have you been staying up late recently? How did you know? I stammered, guiltily glancing towards the kitchen door where Ryan had just appeared to get some water. Young people need their sleep, Mr. Chun lectured gently. Less staying up late. Your spleen is weak and your liver fire is excessive. Come by the hospital sometime. I'll prescribe a month's worth of Chinese herbs for you. It'll help regulate things slowly. Oh, Uncle Chun, that's too much trouble. I can just see one of the doctors under you. Chloe snorted beside me. My dad likes you, Sophie. Other people have to wait weeks for an appointment with him. I quickly laid on the flattery. Uncle Chun just has a healer's heart. Mr. Chun pretended to be engrossed in the Go game on TV again, but the slight smile playing on his lips revealed his pleasure. At the dinner table, I was strategically seated between Ryan and Chloe. Mrs. Chun was an excellent cook, and both siblings kept piling food onto my plate. Halfway through the meal, Mr. Chun suddenly addressed Ryan curtly. Eat some vegetables. Ryan mumbled an agreement, but his chopsticks didn't move towards the greens. The atmosphere at the table abruptly shifted, growing tense. I could feel Mr. Chen's gaze fixed sharply on Ryan. The others seemed accustomed to this dynamic, continuing to chat and eat as if nothing was wrong. But my internal radar, always sensitive to low pressure, screamed that something deeper was amiss. Sure enough, after a few minutes, Mr. Chun spoke again, his voice sharper this time. Ryan, eat your vegetables. Ryan replied flatly, you know I don't eat celery. Mr. Chun slammed his chopsticks down. Picky eater. If you don't want to eat, then don't. Mrs. Chun quickly intervened, urging her husband not to get angry, to finish the meal first. Chloe hunched her shoulders, trying to disappear. I felt I should say something, try to mediate. But what came out was, celery really isn't that tasty though. Ryan shot me a surprised look. Mr. Chun stared at me as if I'd uttered blasphemy, his eyes wide. Mortified by my lack of tact, I shrank in my seat. Thankfully, perhaps because I was a guest, Mr. Chun didn't direct his anger at me. He even offered to cook another dish, some bok choy, just for me. I hastily declined, wanting nothing more than to finish eating and escape. On the drive home, Ryan was behind the wheel, his lips pressed into a thin, tight line. The silence in the car crackled with his suppressed anger. Feeling his heavy mood, I tried desperately to lighten the atmosphere, rattling off a series of terrible jokes. Suddenly Ryan cut me off. Sophie. He hadn't called me Sophie like that, without the usual teasing lilt. He sounded serious. I don't actually want to study abroad. I know, I replied softly. For a top student like him to keep procrastinating on the IELTS, it had to be deliberate. Ryan glanced over at me, surprised. He had parked the car in my apartment complex, but neither of us made a move to get out. We sat there in the quiet darkness. Ryan explained that his lifelong dream was to work at one of China's top research institutes, to contribute to science within his own country. But his father was convinced that true success could only be found overseas. He had a chance to study abroad himself years ago, Ryan said, his voice low. He gave it up for the family. Now, he's projecting that deferred dream onto me. You saw him tonight. He tries to control everything, even what I eat. Sophie, I didn't want you to see me like that. The way I am at home. I will sort things out with my family, he vowed, turning to look at me fully. And then, I want to be with you properly. For some reason, I remembered Chloe's tone when she first mentioned Ryan studying abroad. It had sounded like a royal decree, an unchangeable fact. It seemed Ryan's entire family viewed it as his predetermined path. They provided financial and logistical support for that future. And me? I was just me. An unexpected detour. A temporary complication. I had no standing, no right to influence his path, to support his real dream against their wishes. But I heard myself say, Ryan, if you have something you truly want to do, then do it. If you don't want to eat celery, then don't eat it. No one says you have to be a puppet, dancing to someone else's tune. You only get one life. Why should you live it fulfilling someone else's dream? Everyone has to be responsible for their own choices. Your father made his. You need to make yours. Sophie, Ryan whispered, his voice thick with emotion, I think I'm falling in love with you. In the dim light of the car, his eyes held the same unwavering devotion as the puppy I remembered from my childhood. That kind of focused affection is incredibly moving precisely because it feels so singular, so absolute. It was incredibly moving, yes. But faced with this raw vulnerability, I felt completely overwhelmed, unsure. I could encourage him to live freely, but could I selfishly claim him for myself, knowing the potential complications, the likely expiration date? Ryan, I heard myself say, the words feeling like sandpaper in my throat, needing to puncture the fragile bubble of his confession. You're only 20. How long can this love last? I was reminding myself of the harsh realities. Do you remember? He began softly, 6 years ago? The first time you came to my house. This crazy older girl, he continued, a faint smile touching his lips, loudly declaring she was going to marry me? That was the first time I'd ever met anyone like you. So direct, so endearingly chaotic. You reminded me of Missy. Missy? I blinked confused. Missy no Era. Crayon Shinchan's mom. Ryan clarified, his tone utterly serious despite the absurdity. So I remind you of a cartoon character? A cartoon character's mother. This had to be the weirdest love confession ever. If he'd compared me to, say, Sailor Moon, I wouldn't be this speechless. Yes, he insisted earnestly. Missy. That warm, passionate, straightforward older sister. You were the girl I thought about constantly. Under the sparse starlight, sitting in the quiet car, the atmosphere felt charged, almost magical. Maybe it was the intensity of his confession, the unexpected tenderness, or maybe it was the sudden, unmistakable warm gush I felt between my legs. Damn it. A love confession coinciding with the arrival of my period. Truly a blood-red romance. After changing my clothes and swallowing a painkiller, I lay sprawled on the bed like a corpse. Every month, Aunt Flo's visit felt like a stampede of wild horses galloping across my uterus. My usual cheerful self morphed into a grumpy, irritable mess. Yet, thinking about Ryan's bizarre but heartfelt confession, I couldn't stop a small smile from curling my lips, making me, I suppose, a perverted, grumpy mess. While Ryan was chivalrously washing my soiled clothes in the bathroom, there was a knock at the front door. I heard a man's voice, assumed it was a delivery driver, and ignored it. But the conversation continued for several minutes. Who is it? Called out weakly. No reply. Dragging myself out of bed, I shuffled into the living room and froze. Mark, my ex, was sitting on my sofa. Ryan stood nearby, his expression thunderous. What are you doing here? I snapped at Mark. He ignored me, his eyes fixed on Ryan. Started dating already? He sneered. I hesitated. Ryan and I hadn't officially agreed to anything yet. Choosing my words carefully, I said, he's my brother. Mark looked like he'd swallowed a fly. Your brother washes your underwear. Only then did I notice Ryan was still holding my pink lace panties, dripping slightly. He glanced down at them, then shrugged nonchalantly. After hanging them up to dry, Ryan returned to the conversation, picking up where Mark left off. Hello, he said coolly, stepping slightly in front of me. I'm Ryan Chun, Sophie's boyfriend. Mark's eyes darted between us, his face contorting with rage. I underestimated you, Sophie, he spat venomously. You were planning to cheat on me all along, weren't you? With this pretty boy? And you even went crying to the boss telling tales about me? Have you no shame? Mark's rant, while infuriating, clarified two things. 1. The boss and his daughter had discovered Mark's true colors. 2. Some colleague, likely Lou, had exposed his scheming. I chuckled darkly. Mark, you brought this on yourself. Don't blame me. My laugh seemed to enrage him further. He actually raised his hand to hit me. But before he could connect, Ryan grabbed his arm from behind. Mark tried to wrench free, shoving Ryan backward. Ryan stumbled, crashing into the side table, knocking over the vase of roses. Crash. A shard of ceramic flew up, slicing Ryan's hand. Blood welled up instantly. I gasped. In that split second of distraction, Mark lunged towards Ryan again. Ryan, taller and stronger, normally would have had the advantage, but he was clearly trying to shield me, keeping himself between me and Mark. Just as Mark's fist was about to connect with Ryan's handsome face, a flying kick seemed to materialize out of nowhere, sending Mark staggering backward, nearly falling. Chloe! Mark sputtered, recognizing his attacker. You! Me what? Chloe snapped, radiating menace. You dare touch my friend? You looking to die. Why don't you ask your precious friend about her own morals? Mark snarled back. Cheating with a younger guy. I stared numbly at Chloe, my mind racing, already dreading her reaction when she learned the full truth. Who would she kill first, me or Ryan? To my utter astonishment, Chloe glanced between Ryan and me, her expression unreadable but strangely knowing. She even gave Ryan a subtle nod, almost like approval. Then, cool as a cucumber, Chloe retorted. That's because Sophie isn't blind. Any sane person would choose my brother over an old creep like you. I understood. She thought Ryan was just playing the part of the protective boyfriend to help me fend off Mark. Ryan instinctively pulled me closer to his side, murmuring soothingly, It's okay, don't be scared. This is insane, I thought. The whole world has gone mad. The scumbag Mark was no match for Chloe's fury and taekwondo skills. He beat a hasty, humiliated retreat. As soon as he was gone, I quickly disentangled myself from Ryan's protective embrace. Seeing the blood on his hand, I immediately fussed over him, cleaning and bandaging the cut. Chloe stood watching, then slapped her forehead as if remembering something crucial. Oh, Ryan, Dad wanted me to remind you. Don't forget to register for the IELTS exam tomorrow. Ryan stared down at his bandaged hand, saying nothing. What's wrong? Did that idiot scare you? Chloe nudged him with her elbow. Ryan seemed to gather himself, taking a deep breath. He spoke slowly, deliberately, each word dropping like a stone into the sudden silence. Chloe, he said, I'm not going abroad. His words detonated like a bomb. The living room was silent for a beat. Then Chloe erupted in a furious roar that could rival a lion's. She practically dragged Ryan out of my apartment, despite his resistance. I weakly called after her, pleading with her to calm down, my own body aching from period cramps. I can't calm down, Chloe yelled back, wrestling Ryan towards the elevator. If Dad finds out about this, he'll kill him. You don't know how bad it was when Ryan was a kid, the beatings. But why force him to do something he doesn't want? I protested feebly. Chloe sighed heavily, a rare moment of weariness showing through her anger. It's just habit, I guess. We grew up doing what Dad said. Just the way it is. Unless Ryan literally gives his life back to him, Dad's expectations will always be a chain around his neck. Lying in bed later that night, I realized Ryan and I had been living together for over half a month now. My apartment was filled with his presence, his preferred cold brew coffee in the fridge, our toothbrushes standing side by side in the bathroom holder. His presence had somehow transformed my apartment into a home. But the most likely outcome remained unchanged. He would probably register for the IELTS pass, get accepted into that UK university. He'd study for his master's, maybe a PhD. The first year he was away, maybe he'd still love me. The second year, maybe too. But eventually, inevitably, he would meet a beautiful, brilliant young woman his own age, someone with a similar background, shared experiences. They would build a life together, the kind of perfect match everyone expected. And me? By then I'd be nearing 30. Maybe I'd have met someone suitable too, settled down, had kids. Ryan would become a bittersweet memory, tucked away, rarely revisited. I was watching a movie when Chloe's message came through. It was one of those films I always rewatched when I felt low, probably seen it a dozen times. The main character falls in love with an AI girlfriend, only to discover she's simultaneously dating thousands of other people. What is heartbreak? It's offering up your fragile heart, only to have it trampled underfoot. It's realizing that the connection you thought was unique once in a lifetime was just one of millions, utterly insignificant to the other person. I sat there sobbing at the screen like an idiot. Whether for the fictional character or for myself, I wasn't sure. Then Chloe's messages started pouring in. You won't believe this. My brother's gone insane. Chloe. He actually stood up to Dad. Told him he wants to do research here in China. I stared at the screen, stunned. What happened? Quickly typed back. But Chloe was too caught up in her own reporting to notice my question. Chloe, and get this. The biggest gossip ever. Chloe. My brother said he's in love. Chloe. Said he fell for the girl when he was 15. Can you believe he kept a crush secret for that long? My own heart skipped a beat. A surreal feeling washed over me as I read her messages. Chloe. And the kicker? He said he wants to marry her. Dad didn't believe him, so now Ryan says he's taking us all to meet her. Right now. A jolt went through me. Meet her? Where? I typed frantically. Where are you going? Chloe, to her place, I guess? I don't know. Mom and Dad are totally bewildered. Chloe, we're on our way. I'm purely in spectator mode now. Honestly, kinda impressed my brother had the guts. He actually sounded kinda manly. I'd never dare talk to Dad like that. Fell in love at 15. Unless I misunderstood everything the girl Ryan was talking about. Had to be me. He's bringing his parents and Chloe here? To my apartment? To meet me? Chloe. Hey, we're almost at your building. Wanna come down and join the gossip sesh? We can squeeze you in. The gossip is me. How can I join? Chloe, wait. Why are we turning into your complex? WTF. Sophie. Have there been any gorgeous mysterious women spotted around your building lately? Chloe's words snapped me out of my stupor. I glanced at my reflection in the dark window pane. Eyes swollen like walnuts from crying, no makeup, wearing an oversized t-shirt and shorts. I launched myself off the sofa like a rocket, scrambling to my dressing table, fumbling with makeup. They had to be downstairs already. Chloe's messages were buzzing non-stop. Just as I frantically blended foundation on one cheek, I heard the beeping sound of my electronic door lock, followed by the click of the door opening. Chloe stepped in first. She took one look at my half-made-up face, my state of panic, and with an expression of dawning horror and grim determination, she immediately backed out, physically blocking her parents from entering. Oh, Chloe! In that moment I could have built her a shrine. Maybe she really is on my side. Then I heard her muffled voice from the hallway, talking to her parents. No way, Mom, Dad. Ryan must be lying. It can't possibly be Sophie. It can't possibly be Sophie. Her tone was filled with disbelief, bordering on despair. Hey! A surge of indignation rose within me. What's wrong with me? Am I not worthy of being secretly loved for 6 years? In the living room, Chloe and I poured water for Mr. and Mrs. Chun. Despite the murderous glint still lingering in Chloe's eyes, it was clear she had chosen, for now, to present a united front with Ryan and me against her parents. The three of us braced ourselves for the anticipated storm. Surprisingly, it didn't come. Mr. Chun spoke first, his voice unexpectedly gentle. Sophie, he said, looking at me kindly. This boy. He hasn't been bothering you, has he? Playing the part of the innocent, I quickly shook my head. Oh no, Uncle Chun. Ryan's been wonderful. He cooks for me, helps with chores. Mrs. Chun beamed beside him. That's my boy. Knows how to take care of his wife. Wife. Already. I nervously glanced at Chloe. She shot me a look that clearly said, Don't look at me. We'll deal with you later. Mr. Chun, the head of the family, cleared his throat, presumably having gathered his thoughts. He turned to Ryan. Are you absolutely sure about this, son? Ryan nodded firmly. He reached over and took my hand, his grip steady. His voice was quiet but unwavering. Dad, Mom, I want to build my life in this country, doing the research I love, with the woman I love. A long silence followed. Suddenly, a surge of courage filled me. It felt like that day on the street when he held my hand and asked me point-blank what I wanted. Seeing my hesitation, Chloe gave me a subtle nudge, an encouraging look. I met Ryan's gaze. He looked back at me, his eyes full of warmth and certainty. Taking a deep breath, I turned to his parents and bowed respectfully. Uncle, Auntie, I began, my voice steady. I know Ryan hasn't graduated yet, but I'm willing to wait for him. He told me once that he didn't want to study abroad, I confessed. And I'm sorry, but I encouraged him then to follow his own path. Firstly, because I know there are excellent research institutions here in China, just as good as those overseas. Secondly, I believe someone as talented as Ryan will succeed wherever he chooses to be. After a moment, Mr. Chun nodded slowly. All right, he conceded. Your relationship. If you've both thought it through, that's your decision. He still looked concerned. Ryan shook his head. Don't worry, Dad. Our future, Sophie's and mine. I'll take responsibility for it. Mr. Chen's gaze softened as he looked at me, a genuine smile finally appearing. Sophie, he said warmly. I like this girl from the first time I met her. Mrs. Chun chimed in, gesturing towards Ryan. Me too. When I was pregnant with him, Chloe and I both wished for a little sister. Now, she smiled broadly at me, it looks like I finally have 2 daughters. Holding Ryan's hand, overwhelmed by the sudden wave of acceptance and happiness, I felt my face flush crimson. Epilogue. After Ryan's parents left, it was just the 3 of us remaining in the apartment. Me, Ryan, and Chloe. With the external conflict resolved, Chloe immediately shifted into interrogation mode, seating herself on the sofa like a queen holding court. But having witnessed her surprising support earlier, my fear had largely dissipated. I plopped down beside her and started playfully massaging her shoulders. Her stern expression finally cracked, replaced by a look of mock betrayal. Sophie G, you really did it, didn't you? Keeping secrets even from me. I value my life. I whimpered dramatically. Chloe looked genuinely puzzled. Why would telling me endanger your life? Look at our chat history. I pleaded. Chloe thought for a moment, then her eyes widened in understanding. Oh, right. I did say that, didn't I? She waved a dismissive hand. But that was before I knew it was you. With you it's okay. Then she turned her attention to the main culprit, lounging nearby. Ryan Chan, she warned, pointing a finger at him. If you ever dare to hurt our Sophie, I will personally hunt you down. She punctuated the threat with a sharp taekwondo chop gesture. Ryan calmly picked up a segment of pomelo, popped it into my mouth and replied coolly. She's my Sophie now, Chloe. I watched the 2 siblings banter back and forth, their familiar dynamic playing out. Suddenly, all the uncertainty and anxiety that had plagued me over the past few weeks felt like a cloud dissolving, blown away by a gentle breeze. Standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the city lights begin to twinkle in the long summer twilight, listening to their playful bickering, I couldn't help but smile softly. Felt good. So good. The heart I had offered up so cautiously, so fearfully, had been met with Ryan's unwavering certainty. The end.